I moved into Willow Creek Estates because I thought it would be quiet. A small gated community, a patch of trees, a calm lake nearby. Exactly the kind of place where a man like me could finally heal after years of serving overseas. I wanted peace, not problems. But problems have a way of finding you, even when you're done fighting wars. The trouble started with Karen. Her name was whispered like a curse by almost every neighbor. She was the self-proclaimed guardian of the HOA, though most of us never saw her actually help the community. Instead, she patrolled the streets with her clipboard, issuing threats, fines, and nasty letters about lawn lengths and mailbox paint. She always had her phone ready to record, always ready to report someone. And when I moved in with my German Shepherd, Ranger, she found her next target. "Your dog looks dangerous," she sneered the first week I arrived. "Big animals like that don't belong in communities like ours." I told her calmly that Ranger wasn't just a dog. He was my canine partner, the one who had saved my life overseas more times than I could count. He was trained, disciplined, and loyal beyond words. But to Karen, he was just a threat to her picture, perfect control. Soon enough, I began receiving HOA warnings. "Your dog barks too loud. Your trash bin wasn't pulled in by 7:01 p.m. Your grass is 1 inch too long." At first, I thought it was just the usual HOA nonsense, but then, it escalated. One night, I came home to find trash scattered across my porch, like someone had deliberately tipped my bin. Another time, someone poured sugar into my gas tank. My security cameras caught glimpses of shadows, but never a clear face. Still, I had a feeling, and Ranger's growls whenever Karen walked by only confirmed it. Then came the night that changed everything. I had gone into the city for supplies. Ranger stayed home, as he often did. He was more comfortable in his territory, and honestly, I trusted him more than any lock on my door. When I left, he was resting near the front window, watching me drive away. Hours later, when I returned, the flashing lights of police cars lit up my street. My heart stopped. Neighbors stood in clusters, whispering, pointing at my house. I ran forward, only to see the front door hanging open, the lock busted. And then, I heard it, the low, commanding bark of Ranger echoing through the halls of my home. According to the officers on scene, it had gone like this: Karen, convinced she had evidence of me violating HOA rules, decided she had the authority to break into my house. She told neighbors she was going to inspect my home for safety violations. With a crowbar in hand, she forced her way in through the front door. What she didn't expect was Ranger. When she stepped inside, Ranger was waiting. He didn't attack. He was too well trained for that. Instead, he stood his ground, barking loud enough to make the walls shake, keeping her frozen in place. When she tried to move deeper into the house, he circled, blocking her path, teeth bared but never biting. He knew the difference between threat and restraint. He knew he was protecting his home until I came back, but Karen panicked. She called 911, claiming my dog was mauling her inside my home. The operator kept her on the line, and when officers arrived, they found her cornered in my kitchen, shaking, while Ranger sat a few feet away, growling but controlled, guarding the doorway like the soldier he was trained to be. Neighbors filmed it all. Within minutes, the truth spread. Karen hadn't been attacked. She had been caught. When I arrived, I rushed inside, calling for Ranger. His ears perked, and he came to me instantly, tail wagging, pressing his head into my chest as though to say, "I did good, didn't I?" I hugged him tight, whispering, "You saved me again, buddy." Karen, meanwhile, was red-faced and furious. "That animal should be put down. He tried to kill me," she screeched as officers led her out. But the police had already reviewed the footage. The body cam showed Ranger never touched her. Instead, they showed her trespassing, breaking and entering, and even attempting to rummage through my locked drawers before Ranger blocked her. The judge didn't take long to decide. Karen was charged with breaking and entering, trespassing, and harassment. The HOA tried to shield her at first, but once the video went public, Even they couldn't save her reputation. As for Ranger, the community that once whispered about him now respected him. Neighbors came by with treats, thanking him for standing guard. Children who had once been told, "Stay away from that scary dog," now reached out to pet him, under my watchful eye. That night, sitting on my porch with Ranger's head resting on my lap, I realized something. I had thought I moved here to find peace. But peace doesn't come from silence or distance. It comes from loyalty, from knowing that no matter what storms break into your life, you have someone standing by your side. Ranger wasn't just a dog. He was my brother, my guardian, my hero. And thanks to him, the truth about Karen finally came out. The weeks after the break-in were complicated. On the surface, things seemed resolved. Karen was facing criminal charges, the HOA distanced itself from her, and neighbors finally stopped avoiding me when I walked Ranger through the streets. But inside, I couldn't shake the unease. It wasn't just about Karen. It was about the principle. How easily someone could abuse power, how fragile the sense of safety could feel even in a so-called safe community. And it was about Ranger, my partner, who had once again proven that his loyalty was the only shield I needed. One afternoon, about a month later, I received a letter in the mail. It wasn't from Karen. She had gone quiet after the court hearings. It was from a little girl who lived 2 houses down. Her name was Emily, and she had drawn a picture of Ranger standing tall like a superhero with a cape. Below, in shaky handwriting, she wrote, "Thank you for saving our street. I'm not scared anymore. I'll admit it. I sat on my porch and cried when I read it. Not because of what Karen had done, but because of what Ranger represented to this community. He wasn't just protecting me, he was protecting everyone who had been too afraid to speak up before." That night, I decided to hold a gathering at my house. Nothing fancy, just neighbors, food, and a chance to talk without the shadow of HOA fear hanging over us. People came, hesitant at first, but soon, laughter and stories filled the air. And Ranger, he made his rounds accepting pets, scratches, and more treats than I probably should have allowed. During the gathering, one of the older residents, Mr. Henderson, came up to me. He had lived in Willow Creek Estates for over 20 years. "Son," he said, voice low but steady, "we let Karen scare us for too long. We thought we had no choice but to let her control everything. But you, and that dog of yours, you reminded us that standing up doesn't always mean fighting. Sometimes it just means refusing to be afraid anymore." His words stayed with me. The HOA soon underwent changes. With community pressure mounting, new board members were elected. Rules became reasonable, and instead of fear, there was cooperation. People started planting gardens, children rode bikes in the street without Karen yelling at them. And for the first time, Willow Creek actually felt like a community. As for Karen, her charges stood. Rumor had it she moved away, unable to face the whispers and stares of the very people she once controlled. But for me, the greatest reward wasn't her downfall. It was what I gained. I found myself no longer just a veteran looking for peace, but a man finally finding belonging. Ranger and I weren't outsiders anymore. We were part of something bigger. And every night, as Ranger rested at my feet, I thought about the simple truth. Sometimes the greatest battles aren't fought overseas. They're fought in our neighborhoods, in our hearts, and in the quiet decisions we make to stand up for what's right. Closing inspiring message, Ranger showed me, and my neighbors, that true strength doesn't come from control, power, or fear. It comes from loyalty, courage, and love. Karen broke into my house to tear me down, but all she did was reveal the unbreakable bond between me and my dog, and in the end, she gave our community back its freedom. And maybe that's the lesson we all need. Evil doesn't win when it's loud. It loses when good people and good dogs stand silently, firmly, and refuse to move.